It is Monday the 11th of May, and we're going to be going through everything that Games Workshop have announced over the last week over on Warhammer Community and catching you up on all the articles in under 3 minutes. Let's dive on in. If you may have noticed on Warhammer Community, it's all about faction focuses. It's very 40k heavy, talking about what your army is going to look like in the new edition. So they kicked off with the Orc one last week, followed by the Space Marine one as well. And there's some really cool stuff in here. I'm not going to go through the full article, but there was a load of great stuff on the new psychic disciplines, well, kind of almost returning psychic disciplines, and some really great updates for things like land speeders and storm speeders, which was really cool. We've also had the Astra Militarum faction focus, which had detachments based around Ogrins and other humans like Ratlings. There was also a detachment focused on the Militarum Tempestus, so the Tempestus Scions. Tyranids were up next with 3 great new detachments, one focusing, as you can see here, on Death Leapers, so kind of like sneaky units, another one focused on big units like the Northern Emissary, and finally one that gave Tyranid warriors a good time to shine in the limelight. Heretic Astartes and Demons also got their next faction focus. There was a load of great stuff in here. For Heretic Astartes, you had great things for focusing on things like Havocs and Obliterators, and using things like Warpsmiths. But the Demons is what really caught my eye. We haven't heard much about Demons since they were moved to an index only rather than a codex in 10th edition. So 11th edition, the fact that there's something in here makes me quite excited that Demons could be making a return in codex form. I really hope they do, because I love demon-based armies. Adeptus Sororitas got their update today, which was cool to see, and they've got a detachment focusing on jump units. Then you've got an update as well for the Celestin Sacrosanct, which is again another really nice unit that doesn't get a lot of love on the tabletop. But that's not all for 40k as well, as just a reminder that the made-to-order for the Vostarans was also announced. We mentioned yesterday that these are going up for pre-order this coming Saturday, and you'll have 10 days up until the 25th of May in order to pre-order them, and they're going to be really cool. It's great to see these metal miniatures from over 20 years ago get a little bit of love on a made-to-order. There's also a Warhammer 40,000 giveaway where you just have to subscribe to their newsletter and log in at some point to your My Warhammer account. And if you do, you could win all of these models that are all Armageddon-centric, plus 10 paints of your choice. And there's even more for Warhammer 40,000. The new Combat Patrol Companion book was announced. This is a 184-page book that is a real kickstart for people getting into the hobby. Kind of sets you up for your first games of Combat Patrol and gives you a load of lore as well, so you can dive straight on in. On top of that, we also got our first Warhammer 40,000 terrain area set announced. So this is not a full terrain set specifically. This is all about the templates that go on the ground for where your terrain would sit on top. This is the new way that there's going to be objectives, and this is going to be a double-sided 16-card set, so you can cover all of the different terrains that you need to play in the new edition. And speaking of the new edition, there is a new core rulebook and 2 new decks here. The Dominatus one, which is all about narrative play, and the new chapter-approved mission deck also have been announced. There's also updates for Age of Sigmar fans as well. Starting off with Warhammer Underworld, we're going to look at the new Lumineth Realmlords Underworld Warband. And for Age of Sigmar fans, we also got to our first look at the rules for the new Cannondale Cogfort and its variants as well. The Cogforts are going to be these new massive hulking war machine engines for Cities of Sigmar. They look fantastic. And we also had the price reveal as well for these, which they're going to be about £125 per model in RRP, so they're going to be huge. And there was more Cities of Sigmar rules announced as well, including the first look at the hero ability for Pontifex Zenestra in the new Battle Tome. And there we have it. There is everything summarised in under 3 minutes. It was a lot to get through, so I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time for another Warhammer Roundup.